Okay.
Hi, Andrew. This is Andrew Carlisle, an instructor at the Balmoral Schools. He's a world-class soloist, as well as being a longtime member of world-class pipe bands, primarily the Field Marshal Montgomery Pipe Band, world champions. And when I met Andrew, he was a teenager in that band and already world champion. He's also the primary instructor at Carnegie Mellon University for bagpipe. And he's held that position for about a decade now, maybe a bit more. It was created by Jimmy McIntosh and followed by Alistair Gillies, both alumni of the Balmoral School. Welcome, Andrew. It's
Yeah,
great to
thank
see
you,
you.
Richmond. Great to be here. Yep.
Yeah. So I have some questions here for you. How old were you when you started piping?
I was 7 years old. Yeah, I'm from Northern Ireland, a small village called Ballygown, and I learned in a local pipe band there. They were grade two at the time, a band called Rivara.
That's great. And who was your first teacher?
I was the pipe major of the Rivara pipe band. At that time, Andy's still the pipe major, a guy called Samuel Connolly. Great
Okay.
instructor, great piper. Yep.
Oh, that's good. And when you started, were there other kids that played with you that you came up together, or were you just by yourself?
There were a couple there was a couple of kids that learned alongside me. Unfortunately, the other two that learned alongside me kind of didn't stick with it. So it was kind of I started off with a couple of kind of kids that learned alongside me, and then I guess after maybe a couple of years, I was on my own.
Okay, good. Do you remember your first tune?
Yeah, my first tune, believe it or not, was Scotland the Brave. I remember I was Samuel taught me the kind of old school method of, you had to learn all the embellishments, all the technique before you were allowed any glimpse of a tune at all. There's not too many instructors teach like that anymore, but I think it had its benefits for sure. You certainly I was certainly taught correctly, and I think my technique has been pretty good as a result for that.
That's the idea of getting all the embellishments for each note and making sure that all the work's there rather than using a tune to learn
Mhm.
each thing and say, oh, then when someone's going through the tune, you say, you're not doing this doubling correctly, etc. If you have all the tools of the technique down before you start, then that's got to be a good help. Do you think that's a good idea to teach that way?
Um, I think it is in the long run. There's definitely benefits, but of trying to incorporate tunes in earlier though. For example, young children can sometimes get a little bit disinterested if they're not hearing a melody or a tune, or just the length of time it takes, learning scale after scale after scale, embellishment after embellishment can be a little bit on the boring kind of front, for especially for the younger students. Um, and also, if you're running a pipe band or have some sort of program where you're trying to get students up and running quicker, and maybe a time crunch, maybe you need to get these beginners ready to play in a parade or a competition or something, so sometimes it's more beneficial for the organization to try and take some shortcuts like that, and incorporate some tunes in some early, but tunes that don't have all the technique.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. There's benefits of being an instructor, having an instructor, obviously, for a piper, who your teacher is. But do you think there's benefits from playing in a band and as well as playing solo, that for those people that are soloists primarily, they benefit from being in a band. It helps their technique and vice versa. That people that have
Yeah.
only played in band, do you think there's a benefit to doing some solo work?
I think yes is the answer to both of your questions there. So so a piper that's not a member of a band, I think being part of a band is a great thing, even for the social aspect of it. You're around other peers that are doing the same thing that you're doing. You get to play with other pipers and drummers. You get to go to band practice. You get to travel to parades or competitions or concerts, that kind of thing, and perform with other people. So there's the kind of social aspect of being a member of a band, which is terrific, and you get to meet lots of great friends. Of friends all over the world that play pipes and drums and stuff like that. And
Supportive.
also also it's a kind of different thing. It's all about doing the same thing together, and as a soloist, you're only playing with yourself, but you have to, if you're playing with a band, you have to play the way the band plays. So it's a kind of different mindset,
Yeah.
as a soloist versus a band. There's a member of a band that doesn't do solo competitions. I think there's benefit for that. Um, it's all about working towards something. So a lot of people like maybe shy away. Oh, I don't like the competition aspect, or I think that's only for the elitist, or something like that. There's a lot of benefit from picking a piece and practicing it over and over again and getting it to a certain level, and then going to perform it at a Highland Games, in front of an adjudicator or a judge, and getting some constructive feedback. I think that's a great thing. And it can only, if each member of the band is doing that, it can only improve the band. As each individual piper is going to get better as a result of that. And so yeah, there's definitely benefits from both.
Good points. Now, what do you think sets Balmoral School apart from other schools' programs?
Well, I think certainly the instructors that are going to be on this summer school in July, up and coming summer school, are some of the best in the world. I'll not include myself in that, but I mean, we've got Roddy McLeod's, one of the greatest solo pipers and pipe majors of all time. Robert Matheson, one of the greatest pipe majors and composers of all time. We've got Bruce Gandy, another prolific composer and a very seasoned solo competitor and pipe band person as well. And of course, we've in the drumming end of things this year, we've got for the first time Jim Kilpatrick. The greatest drummer of all time. Period. You know multiple times world champion soloist and pipe band.
Yeah,
So the quality of the instruction is really second to none. And I think as well the range of topics that we cover. I've taught in quite a few workshops and stuff around the world, and I think Balmoral is quite good at the fact that they're quite diverse in the range of classes and topics that they teach. I think some workshops, it's each instructor just gives out new tunes, learn this, learn this, learn.
hmm,
I think you get a little bit more in depth, and I think at Balmoral where the instructors are more focused on improving pipers and drummers, and making sure during the week long session that they might learn a few tunes along the way, which is great, but they come out a better musician at the end of it. I think is the key thing.
that's good. I I think that saying that the sessions we see who keeps coming back, and people do like it, so it seems to work. That's for sure. Um, have you taught online for long? When and
Yeah,
how did
well,
you get into it? You know?
well, I mean, yes, I've certainly been doing some of the, like video conference and instruction for at least 10, maybe slightly longer years. But I think in the last 15, 16 months, because of the pandemic, I've certainly done way more than what I ever did before, you know. And it's kind of in a way forced us all to kind of like embrace the technology, and I've certainly become a lot better at it, you know, over the time frame. You know, we've been doing a lot of instruction on Zoom at Carnegie Mellon, and I've taught the two schools for Balmoral on Zoom, and I think it's very productive. And while there's certainly benefits from being in person and, you know, having that social aspect, I think it's a great alternative. And unfortunately, at the minute, you know, we're not all able to get together, you know, during this pandemic, and I think it's great that we can still meet and still have a productive summer school. You know, like we've proved that it works. We've done it twice already, so
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm looking forward to another session in July. Yeah.
It's the only game in town. Geez, we don't have much choice. Got to be
Mhm.
online. You're right. If you had to pick a couple of things that you would like students to, as takeaways from their Balmoral School experience, what might they be?
I think the first and foremost is to have fun for the week. You know, come enjoy the piping, come and learn new tunes, come and better your piping. You know, or your drumming if you're a drummer. Um, yeah, it's a fun experience. Come and you know, the idea is to get what you want out of it. So, I mean, you know, it's a way of from the comfort of your own living room or bedroom or whatever, you can improve your piping over the course of the week, you know, and I think that's a great thing. And of course, I mean, the other takeaway would be just to to try to work hard through the week. You know, the more you work at it through the week, the more you'll get out of it. You know, and I think the best thing I witness, or my favorite thing to witness is like a student that, you know, that improves through the week, and maybe we usually have a student recital at the end of the week, and when you get to hear some of the students play some of the pieces or that they've been working on, or some of the new pieces they've learned, and things like that, it's very rewarding for us instructors, you know, to see the improvement through the week.
And finally, and you've answered almost a bit of that, if there's, what might you say to a prospective student who is still on the fence about whether or not to do online classes as opposed to in-person classes?
Well, I mean, if you're lazy like me, it's you can get up 15 minutes before the first class, roll out of bed, and be in your class. You know, it's there's not too many places you can do that. You know, yeah. Uh, um, so there's that aspect of it. Um, Anyone that's concerned about, you know, oh, I'm not too good with computers, or I don't have a good computer or something, we've got a really good technical team at Balmoral, and we'll be able to assist, and all you really need is some sort of laptop, or some sort of tablet, or even a smartphone, and you can join in the classes. All you really need's any of those devices that have a camera and a microphone. Will be able to accommodate you, and the quality of the instruction will be superb. Yeah, so that you don't have to be an expert in computers or anything like that to benefit from this online school.
People are online all the time anyway. May as well be world-class instruction at your fingertips.
Well, there you go. Yeah. Mhm.
Well, Andrew, thank you very much. I appreciate the interview. I look forward to teaching with you again this summer.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing you again in July, and yeah, looking forward to seeing lots of students there as well.
Cheers.
Okay.